Hello, chess players. Do you want to know why you're not actually 2800 like Alireza Firouzja? It's because you're not blundering the same way he's blundering. When he's blundering, it's magical. So you should be trying to blunder like Alireza in this game against Fabiano Caruana. So Caruana is playing with the white pieces, is a chaseable master. It's the champ version, with the 2800 rated grandmasters. And the game starts with c4 for Caruana with the white pieces. Alireza with the black pieces played the move c6. So a very sensitive move. The idea is that if you play e4, we will play a Panov. If you play d4, we will play a Slav. And if you try anything else, then I will just go d5, and basically I'm giving myself some flexibility. Knight f3, just trying to bring the knight out and bring the pieces out. d5 controls the center, opens up the bishop. g3, bishop g4, exactly what I said. And now, this is a very sensitive move. Bishop g2 is just bring the bishop out, but there is just a small issue. There is a move like d takes c4 that exists. It's not the greatest move ever, because some knight e5 fork, and if you bring the bishop back, maybe I can still try to save this pawn. But this is something that exists. d4 is also a move, trying to take a lot of space in the center, and basically Fabiano Caruana had some other plans in mind. Caruana played the move knight to e5. So the idea is just to attack the bishop, centralizing the knight, and after bishop f5, it was played by Alireza. Fabiano saw a very nice continuation, and that is queen to b3. So what is this move doing? The pawn is attacking on d5, so it might be a small weakness. We are also attacking the pawn on b7, and the whole point of having the knight on e5 is that one day if you play bishop g2, it will be with a tempo. We will be ready to attack the pawn structure. Also, there might be some sort of a connection with the queen from b3 directly to f7. All right, queen to f6, and the problem of queen to f6 is that now I can just take on d5. And if you just recapture, I will just capture on d5, and guess what? I'm almost winning, and at the very least I won a pawn, and winning a pawn is good. So, in this position, Firouzja decided to just capture on b3. So, of course, we cannot not recapture the queen, so pawn takes b3. And now in this position, the only good way to handle this position with black pieces is just to recapture the pawn on d5. Now, white does have some sort of weakness because the pawn on b3 is weak, etc., etc. But the idea was just to play something like d4, knight c3, just bringing the bishop, the pieces out, maybe also d3, bishop e3, to start attacking the pawn there, knight c3, knight b5, a lot of very dynamical stuff. But Firouzja, instead of just recapturing the pawn, thought that he can play bishop to e4. So he thought, yeah, I'm attacking both the rook and the pawn, and if you play f3, trying to close this diagonal, I can just recapture with the bishop, and guess what? Your pawn on b3 is a huge weakness, and that is not good. Having weaknesses is not good. So Fabiano Caruana started thinking. He started thinking for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and he played a very strong move. He took on c6. So that is very, very strong. What is the whole point of taking on c6? So first of all, if you just recapture the pawn, then I can play knight f3, I can play pawn f3, maybe knight f3 is the best, and I'm just up a pawn. If you just recapture, I'm up a full pawn, and being up a full pawn is not, this is good for white, this is not good for black. But the real question is, what do you do with the white pieces if black captures the rook? First of all, you can think, I have c7, which threatens both the knight and mate on c8. But actually, black can play the move knight to c6, and now the rook defends the c8 square. But Caruana, after sacrificing the first rook, bishop h1 was played in the game, played the move that Alireza Firouzja completely overlooked. Fabiano took on a7. Wow. Simply, wow. What is the whole point of rook a7? The idea is that if you just recapture, I never capture on b7 because nothing is happening, but I can play pawn to c7 attacking the knight, and now, if you move the knight away, like in the previous position, the rook is no longer on a8, and therefore, no one is guarding the a8 square, and we can just make a queen and or make a rook and win the game. And that is simply unbelievable, and that is the reason why Alireza is 2800. It's because he's blundering in a very beautiful style. So yeah, now if you're asking yourself, how do I blunder like him? Basically, let's try to be a little bit honest now. Basically, some more opening work. It's pretty sure that it was some sort of opening prep that Bishop e4 wasn't playable, because if it's the very first time you see this position, it's impossible to think that you're really that much better with the white pieces. It's not, you're not even close to say that this position is maybe equal. Because you have double pawns, it doesn't really feel like there is a lot of problems to provoke. It doesn't feel like we're really getting anything there. So it was definitely, some sort of preparation, and he felt right into the preparation and lost the game. What should you do if you don't want to blunder like Alireza? Simply train openings, try to stick to very serious chess opening repertoires, stick to what you know, and have a very concrete and solid opening repertoire. Don't try to switch lines the whole time, and you'll see you will not blunder like Alireza Firouzja did in this game. All right. If you still have any questions, just let me know. It's always a pleasure to answer you. Hopefully, see you in the future. Take care.